Welcome back to Nation of Glory. Today, we're not just telling a story, we're taking you on a journey of pain, power, and perseverance. A story about a man who fell from the highest mountain and somehow climbed all the way back up again, stronger than ever. A man whose life reminds us that destiny isn't about where you start, it's about how you fight to rise after every fall. This is the story of Andrew McLean Galloway IV. But the world knows him as Drew McIntyre, the Scottish warrior. Imagine a small town in Ayr, Scotland, grey skies, a boy with big dreams, and a heart full of fire. That boy was Drew. From the moment he could walk, he was fascinated by wrestling. He would sit in front of the television, watching legends like The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Bret Hart, not just cheering but studying. He wasn't just a fan, he was a believer. A believer that one day, somehow, he would walk down that long WWE ramp, step into that ring, and make the world chant his name. But in a world where dreams fade faster than the morning mist, not many believed him. Teachers, friends, even some family, they told him wrestling was fantasy. They told him to choose something realistic. But Drew had no backup plan. He didn't want realistic. He wanted greatness. He began training as a teenager, performing in tiny halls, in front of crowds that barely filled a room. Cold nights, long bus rides, little pay, but big passion. He fought through pain, broken bones, and bruised pride. Each match, each fall, each bump on that hard ring floor wasn't punishment, it was progress. He was sharpening himself, molding himself into something unbreakable. And then, his moment came. WWE noticed him. A Scottish kid with size, speed, and pure heart. In 2007, Drew McIntyre signed his first WWE contract. The boy from Ayr had finally made it. He was standing in the place he'd dreamed of since childhood. When Vince McMahon called him the chosen one, the future of the company, the world believed Drew McIntyre was destined to be a star. It was a dream come true. Cameras flashing, lights shining, the crowd roaring. But as bright as the lights were, they also blinded him. Fame came early, but foundation came late. The truth was, Drew wasn't ready. He had the look of a superstar, but inside, he was still searching for himself. The same company that crowned him, the chosen one, slowly began to lose faith. He struggled to connect with fans. Storylines didn't click. His confidence started to fade. The crowd wasn't cheering anymore. They were moving on. And so was WWE. The dream that once made him feel invincible began to crumble. He was paired with a comedy group called 3 Megabytes, meant to make people laugh. But behind the smiles, Drew was breaking inside. The man once promised greatness was now the joke of the show. Each night, he put on a brave face, but deep down, it hurt. It hurt because he knew who he could be, but the world only saw what he had become. And then, in 2014, the unthinkable happened. WWE released him. Just like that. No grand exit, no spotlight. The boy who had been called the chosen one was now unemployed, forgotten, and heartbroken. The world had moved on. But Drew hadn't. He could have quit. Many would have. But instead of giving up, he looked in the mirror and said, "It's time to rebuild." That moment, that choice, changed everything. He went back to the independent circuit, small shows, rough crowds, and humble pay. But this time, he wasn't there for fame. He was there for redemption. Wrestling under his real name, Drew Galloway, he traveled the world, from the UK to the US, from Scotland to Japan, proving that his spirit was still alive. In promotions like ICW, Evolve, and TNA, he began to shine again. Every night, he gave everything. He bled for his craft, he fought for respect, and slowly, the world began to take notice. He wasn't the same Drew anymore. He was wiser, stronger, hungrier. The spark that once dimmed was now a wildfire. He became a world champion in multiple promotions. He didn't need WWE's approval anymore, he earned his own. And when destiny saw that fire again, it called him home. In 2017, WWE reached out. They wanted him back. But this time, he wasn't the young, chosen one. He was a man forged by struggle. A warrior. When Drew McIntyre walked back through those doors, he wasn't looking for validation. He was looking for victory. He joined NXT first, and dominated. He became NXT champion, reminding everyone that he was no longer a story of what could have been, but of what now is. He climbed through the ranks, and when he finally returned to the main roster, the crowd saw something different. He wasn't chasing greatness anymore. Greatness was chasing him. Then came 2020, the year everything changed. The Royal Rumble, the match that decides who goes to WrestleMania. 30 men, one chance. And in that chaos, Drew McIntyre stood tall. He eliminated Brock Lesnar, one of the most dominant champions in history. The arena exploded. It was the moment he became a hero. The fans could feel it. His time had come. And then came WrestleMania 36. But it wasn't a normal WrestleMania. The world was silent. The pandemic had shut everything down. There were no roaring crowds, no cheers, no signs, no lights of a packed stadium. Just an empty arena, a man and his destiny. And in that silence, Drew McIntyre fulfilled a dream he had carried since he was a kid in Scotland. He defeated Brock Lesnar and became the WWE champion. No audience, no applause, just victory and tears. The first Scottish-born WWE champion in history. It wasn't about the roar of the crowd that night. It was about something deeper. It was about redemption. About proving that no matter how dark it gets, no matter how many times life throws you out of the ring, if you have the courage to stand back up, you can rise higher than ever before. Drew McIntyre held that title high, and though the arena was empty, millions were watching from home, feeling every ounce of his emotion. The boy from Ayr had conquered the world. But what makes Drew's story powerful isn't just the gold he's won or the matches he's fought. It's his heart, the humility he carries, the honesty with which he speaks about his journey. He admits his failures. He admits his ego once blinded him. But he also shows the strength it takes to rebuild yourself from the ashes. He's more than a wrestler, he's an example. For dreamers, for believers, for anyone who's ever been told they're not good enough. Drew McIntyre is living proof that sometimes, failure isn't the end. It's the beginning of your real story. He became a locker room leader in WWE. A man others look up to. The Claymore kick, his signature move, became a symbol of power and determination. Every time he hits it, it's not just an attack, it's a statement. A statement that says, I'm still here. I'm still fighting. He carried WWE during one of its hardest times, the pandemic era. No audience, no reactions, yet he gave his all, night after night, because he knew that somewhere out there, fans needed hope. And even now, as he continues to perform on SmackDown, Drew McIntyre remains a symbol of resilience. His presence, his intensity, his passion, they all tell the same message: never give up on yourself. Because the truth is, we all have our 3MB moments, times when life turns us into a joke, when people stop believing in us, when we question our worth. But like Drew, we also have the power to rise again. To become something greater than we were before. He once said, you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. And that's what makes his story universal. It's not just a wrestling story, it's a life story. A reminder that the world doesn't owe you anything, but if you keep working, keep believing, keep fighting, you can build your own destiny. Today, when Drew walks down that ramp, sword in hand, pyros exploding behind him, fans chanting his name, you can feel it, the pride of a man who earned every inch of that spotlight. The same kid who once dreamed in a small Scottish home now stands as one of WWE's greatest modern warriors. But beyond the fame, beyond the lights, there's a lesson, and that's what makes his story beautiful. That lesson is simple: no one can write your story but you. You can fall, you can fail, you can be forgotten, but if you believe in yourself, if you refuse to quit, your comeback can become your legacy. Drew McIntyre's life is the perfect Hollywood story, the chosen hero who loses it all, disappears, and returns stronger than ever. Except this isn't fiction. This is real. This is the story of a man who fought his demons, rebuilt his dream, and conquered the world on his own terms. He's not just the chosen one anymore. He's the man who chose himself. And that's what greatness truly means. Not being chosen by others, but rising so high they have no choice but to recognize you. So whenever life knocks you down, remember Drew McIntyre's journey. Remember that pain doesn't mean it's over. It means it's time to fight harder. Remember that no setback can stop a heart that refuses to give up. Because deep down, every one of us has that same warrior spirit. The world might doubt us. We might even doubt ourselves. But the moment we decide to fight again, that's the moment we start to win again. Drew McIntyre's story is a reminder that champions aren't made by luck. They're made by scars, struggle, and the courage to rise. He turned heartbreak into history, and today, he stands as one of WWE's most respected and beloved figures. A Scottish hero, a global inspiration, a man who taught millions that the true glory isn't in never falling, it's in always rising. From the cold streets of Ayr to the bright lights of WrestleMania, Drew McIntyre's name is written in gold. But his legacy, it's written in the hearts of everyone who ever believed that it's never too late to start again. Because legends aren't born, they're built. And that, my friends, is the nation of glory. Thank you for watching this incredible journey of courage, faith, and fire. If this story inspired you, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs motivation, and don't forget to subscribe to Nation of Glory for more stories that lift your heart and light your fire. Until next time, keep fighting, keep believing, and remember, glory isn't given. It's earned. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again, only here on Nation of Glory.